Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, we've had a busy week for the Barbell
Yeah.
Club. A lot of
Yep.
big accomplishments. Jennifer graduated on Thursday, so congratulations to Jennifer. Or I should say, Dr. Jennifer Howell Clark.
Right. Yeah.
It's, it's pretty exciting. She graduated from Albany Medical College with a medical doctorate degree, and she was one of two people in her class to get the summa cum laude distinction, which is pretty awesome.
hmm
And we're not surprised. Not surprised.
Right.
So that was great to see Jennifer walk, and I got to meet Jennifer's mom and family members too. So that was it's
Nice.
always funny because you think that I would meet like family members and stuff at weightlifting meets over the course of so long, but it's always like special like occasions like this where I'll meet athletes' family
Right.
members.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a thing of the past of like inviting your whole family to come watch your weightlifting meet, or is that like a first timers thing?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends. I think weightlifting is a tough one if your family doesn't have like a background in that type of stuff already, just because
Yeah.
the formatting of it, like, I don't know. Like races are easier, or like something where they can have eyes on you the whole time, or like there's a big finish moment. But weightlifting meets are a little bit different.
Yeah, there's so much action in the back room where your
Right.
friends' family aren't going to get access to that necessarily, and then they see you for what, a total of 30 seconds of actual performance.
Yeah.
What a hard sport too. You finally get your mom, dad, or whoever to come, and, and they're only going to see you for this snippet of time, and that's the day where you're like, I can't connect anything, or
Yeah.
you bomb out or something. Weightlifting is kind of a funny sport like that. At least with a race, like you're probably going to finish, right? Like
Yeah.
it may not be top of the pack, but weightlifting now all of a sudden there's this thing. I'm like, well, what if I don't make any lifts, and I made you travel all the way, from here, and then I have to
Right.
explain to you, all right, sometimes you make them, some you only need to make two, like that whole thing. So
Yeah.
wait, what a funny sport we have. But yeah, congratulations to Jennifer, and also her family's coming from Seattle, like Washington area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that of course makes it a little harder. But Jennifer's mom does like the Instagram videos. I never knew this. I
Hmm.
never knew who that was, but now I do because she commented on the graduation one, and she told me when I met her, she's like, "Yeah, I'm always liking the videos and whatnot." I'm like, "Oh, thank you for your support," and she knows
Nice.
all you guys on the team. You know,
Yeah.
that's still a funny little thing. Like when I talk to people, like they only follow, like, so think about it. If they only follow weightlifting through our barbell club because their family member, their videos are posted there and they find out about it, then they start to learn about you and Haley and Schaff and
Right.
everyone else,
Yeah.
and you guys become like little mini celebrities. And then they're like, "Oh, I see you lift all the time." Like, you ever get that? Do people tell you that?
Yeah. 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 It is interesting. Even like meeting people from other gyms and they like, oh, like I see the barbell club videos and it's like, oh, yeah, I guess sometimes it feels like it's only for us, but I guess it makes sense that other people also view those videos.
Yeah, especially in the days when I think hashtags maybe worked. I don't really do that, like,
Mm,
because I read that people don't use them maybe anymore, and
yeah, I don't think
so
so.
I stopped doing it. But like, I do remember, like, we used to have like Brett Fikowski liked one of your videos, or every now and then like a someone with a blue check mark would like one of the videos, and you're like, people are watching.
Yeah.
So did he ever follow you?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we still have things to work towards, I guess. Last night we were at Justin's wedding. So Justin got married. Congratulations again to Justin and
Yeah.
his now wife Lindsay, that we've met a few times in the years and months leading up. So it was a great ceremony, a beautiful setup there at the Hall of Springs in Saratoga, and we all had a great time. We had our little barbell club table,
Yeah.
and we were able to see Justin here and there. He's very, very busy, of course, doing all the wedding things. But we're super happy for both of them. It was a great event, and I got my Saratoga Springs sparkling water right now to drink on the podcast. Justin gave those to us on the way out. But yeah, it was a great time. Great time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the first time. I mean, yeah, it was fun to have like a barbell club table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Like I've definitely had the groups where it's like, oh, this is like everyone that you know from like the gym or fitness related stuff type of deal. But like having a specifically barbell club table was really cool.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's like it's almost like nothing changes from like if we're sitting in the gym on Friday and everyone's discussing random things or bickering about whatever, and then just move that to now like the cocktail hour at Justin's wedding, and then move that to our table, and it's like the exact same thing. So it's like if anyone like experiences the barbell club as a collective, like in a group gathering, it's like, no, that's how it always is. Like you're seeing like the only thing that's missing is that there's not a barbell here and people aren't fighting for their lives in a workout,
right?
But like like someone says something and someone it's just a whole thing. So it's funny to see. And then even on like, all right, like at certain points I would do like a roll check. I'd look around like, wow, we're kind of like a big majority out here on the dance floor as well. Like, so we were beefing up the numbers a little bit. We were helping. So as we should for Justin, you know,
for sure.
And then you guys had to use your strength to hoist Justin and Lindsay up in the chairs, there.
Yep.
That was great. Yep.
It was fun. Yeah.
You're like, how many kilos are you? Like, lift them up. But it's funny. It's like stuff like that. It's so random, but it always works. Like just grab a leg of the chair, grab a piece of the chair. Doesn't matter how tall you are. You don't have time to figure out the distribution of everybody. But it's funny. But it's like everybody's got you. Like you're going to try a little harder to keep your end up, And then we're going around in the circle, all around them too. And people are trying not to get run over in the circle. The circle was tough because that dance floor had a steep drop off. So you would
really did. Yeah.
Go on and off it. And, you're trying to go in a circle and everyone's like, some people are going too fast. Some people are going too slow. At one point, like I had Lucas's hand and then Haley's husband, Tim, he was like, we were trying to, but like he was holding onto a Modelo. So I just had his pinky a little bit and then his bottle. And like, we're just holding on for dear life going around. And it was great.
Yeah.
So really happy for Justin. I'm going to post a group photo soon. Wish them one more congratulations. But yeah, that was a fun time. And everybody dressed to impress too. Everybody looked great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So congrats to Justin. And then today, happy Mother's Day to Haley and all the mothers in the gym and past and present. But the baby's not here yet, but Haley's already doing an amazing job. So, the baby's coming soon enough here in July, which boy, this year is flying by, like
for sure. Yeah.
I kind of had the year like marked off and like, okay, Justin's wedding's coming up. That feels far away. There's a big build up to it. But I feel like after this wedding has passed now, it's like now like, oh, wow, May is kind of this next week's going to be nothing. Then we have, we're watching, a movie at the gym. And then the week after is Memorial Day already. What's going on? All of our major dates are kind of dropping off the table here. But
yeah, May's a busy month. And then, I mean, it always seems open after you have like your big month, but I mean, we'll see what pops up in June. But yeah, there's a lot of dates on the calendar for this month for sure.
Yeah. And then of course we've got Shops weddings. I think for the Barbell Club in particular, outside of like weightlifting meets, I think that's it as far as events. So and of course, I'm sure maybe during the summer we'll try to do some post training, you know, hang out, go to
Yeah.
Don Tequila or something, you know. But yeah, so busy first 2 quarters of the year, and a lot of awesome things, a lot of great life PRs, you know, for
Right.
people on the team, you know, and because everybody works really, really hard in training, and then it's great to see all of that hard work pay off outside of the gym, because the gym is just one thing, right? It's just it's really there just to make you a better person, you know,
Yeah.
and to accomplish some things. But none of us are going to the Olympics, so at some point you have to kind of put it into context. What is this doing for me overall? You know, it's making me a stronger parent for the future. It's making me, you know, stay on track and give me some sanity when I'm in a tough surgical, you know, doctorate program, or it's helping me, you know, with my job and a social outlet, and be strong and fit and look good and feel good for my wedding and all that stuff. So it's like, it's just funny, you know, what barbell club and like what training like actually does for us. But and it's just also funny that like most of the time we maybe focus on the numbers of it. Well, I didn't PR today, you know, and then you're disappointed about that. But then you don't see the long-term benefits of what you're doing until those special moments come around.
Yeah. Yep.
You ever have that stuff happen for you personally where you're like, all right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you kind of gotta, everything's always working towards, I guess, something, you know, like act as much of you like put it into it actively or not. And then, yeah, it's always like a turn back of like, oh, this has helped me in these ways. And I wasn't even thinking about it, doing that, you know? Yeah. I mean, it's even like what they say about CrossFit. Like when people start CrossFit, like you're probably gonna, after you start, like you'll probably get like a promotion or a different job, or like your relationships and stuff will get better. And I think it's all tied together.
Yeah, definitely. And you see people's personalities change, even, you know, like
Yeah.
imagine going back to 2017, 18, when you and Schaff just joined, and like meeting those people. You ever think about that? Like meeting yourself and talking to yourself from like 8 years
Mhm.
ago, almost 10 years ago. What do you think? What would Miguel now think of Miguel back then if you're meeting him?
I don't know. I feel like I really haven't changed all that much. Maybe it's like the outward expression.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like or I just am more of that, I guess. Where I think like early on, maybe like 10 years ago, like still trying to figure it out, I guess. Or, you know, like you feel like, oh, this is me, but like it takes me a while to get to that point where I'm like actively being this person outwardly. Whereas now that's just that's only me, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah. And
still feel very, but like, yeah, like where it would take me like an hour or two to like act comfortable in the way that I act, like in a scenario. Like now that's just like how I walk into rooms, I guess.
yeah, it definitely brings that I think out of everybody, you know, like I know, like I'm coming up on 15 years at Albany CrossFit on May 23rd. That'll be my 15-year anniversary. And I was thinking back to it, and I'm like, boy, was I a different person when I walked in here as an intern, you know, like still the same on the inside, but just like showing it on the outward expression. And it's like, yeah, and now it's like, okay, you have like your Miguel or your James in with your friend group, which that's maybe like the truest you. Then you have like how you are at your job. You're like, all right, well, I'm still figuring out the world. I'm not gonna like call someone out at work the way I would in my friend group, you know, like things like that.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, just like just being overly vocally expressive and stuff like that, or just even just having fun.
Yeah.
But like now I'm kind of like James anywhere I go. Like we could be at the grocery store, we could be at XYZ thing. And now it's like, it does take you a while to like coming out of like high school and like college to like figure out like how do I just be me all the time kind of a deal, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing. And training helps. Training helps. Makes you stronger for everything
sure.
else that we've been talking about. So yeah, awesome times. We are in an off season now for the Barbell Club. So we've just been doing well, it's funny. It's funny, like, yes, it's off season. I love how everybody thinks that off season means overly easy and like we're taking a break. I'll start there. Like, why do you think that is? 'Cause I don't think I've communicated that. Like, oh, it's off season, which means we're not going to work like really hard and do hard things. So I don't know where do you think everyone's expectations on like, wait a minute, it's off season. We're supposed to be healing or doing things that are like easy.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, because if you think about professional sports, it's all the same. Like off season is off season, but because like when the NFL is in their off season, we don't see their practices or we don't see like the work that they're doing outside. It may not be as organized or like sport specific. I mean, sometimes it is, but the eyes on it, we almost feel like off fully means like nobody's doing anything. And of
Yeah.
course, like when you take like your breaks off, like once the season is over, like you do your vacations, whatever. But like a lot of people are immediately back to work. It's just not the same. And it's like we're doing, it's just not the specific like sport things. Like, I guess like you should call it like your, depending on your sport, like it's conditioning season, it's bodybuilding season, it's bulking season or whatever.
Technique.
But yeah, I mean, all that encompasses, yeah, what an off season is really.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. All right, we're gonna spend a little bit of time doing things that we don't have time for, but we kind of need to do. We need a home for them during a cycle of the full year. If you look at the full year's program, and we can also get a mental break from what we were doing before, like endless amounts of squats and full lifts, and just kind of, and the conditioning too is important. Like you can like once you start to specialize, you'll lose a little bit of that conditioning. But it's like, all right, we don't want to be out of shape. We should be able to do things, and we'll maybe some of that conditioning and some of that type bodybuilding, muscle development stuff will help heal injuries too. Or maybe not injuries, but like things that are bothering you. So yeah, it's and I think it's hard too because the you have a week off, and then the format of what we're doing is kind of the same, but also it changes dramatically where it's like, this is a new stimulus I have to get used to as well.
Yeah,
especially the way that we're doing our accessory work, where it's kind of conditioning, kind of not, that whole thing. But I don't know.
Right.
I like the way we're doing it. If we were doing straight back squats, sets of 10s, I think it'd be a little more mentally fatiguing than like at least you're jumping around from station to station. What do you think about that? If we was all right, doing 5x10 on back squats, and that's it, you just got to sit there and wait for the next set. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think the way that we approach it is also different. Like, I mean, maybe we'd go heavier, but I also feel like it would just feel heavier if we were like, all right, sit down just after every set, and it would be like you're dreading getting through it. Where if you can kind of just move to something else and just keep moving, you can still probably do the same level of intensity on the squats. But yeah, it makes it less miserable. And I think that part of like mental fatigue is important. I think with an off season too, is just like, how can I do the same thing without it, wearing on me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that format works because it's like we're still doing the work, but it feels different because it's like maybe we're moving a little bit quicker, which again, I think for weightlifting is the goal too. It's like we don't want to be slogging through sets of 10. Like if we can get through it quickly, and we can do it quickly because we're also thinking like, oh, I gotta do sit-ups after this, or I have to do gorilla rows or something like that. It helps.
Yeah, and that's exactly correct. If if you know there's something coming up after the 10 back squats that you have to get done within a certain time interval, you're going to treat those squats a little differently. And yeah, you might grind out the last couple reps, but you're going to, you're going to get on the bar probably quicker than you normally would. You're going to start to initiate those squats a little faster. And then when you re-rack the bar, you don't have to, I mean, it's still there, but you don't have to sit with the back squat still in your head, because now you're like, what do I have to do next?
Right.
Oh, rows. And then you're rowing. You're like, these rows suck. These are hard. And you've forgotten about the back squats, which is the big bad in that little sequence. So just like the push press is on the other day. So it's work. I think it's going to work out nicely. We haven't done this in ever or a really long time. Like train reps. When was the last time we trained reps? Like, and not less than 5 on back squats or push presses. I don't know. Trying to think.
I don't really know.
We've gone through periods where I think the Barbell Club would have revolted if we did, so we always stick to like the lower numbers and just pushing the weight. But I think that earlier in the year, doing things like almost conditioning type drop sets, helped. And then we did a little while ago a max rep with really heavy weights, weights that were significantly heavier than what we did these sets of 10 with. And so I think I've peppered in some things that it like kind of helped us to get here, because we've kind of been doing something similar all along, mixed in with our heavy stuff. And now it's kind of pulled to the forefront. And we're working on the upper body too. A lot of upper body pulling, a lot of upper body pressing. I think some people said their shoulders are pumped after last week. So that's a good sign. So we're trying to do that. Just trying to work on these lockouts for snatch and jerks.
Right.
I think it'll get us there. So yeah, we'll see how the programming progresses. It's kind of gonna hang out. Like it might change in sets and reps and variations, but this is kind of the format for a little bit. Especially that Friday thing. I thought a lot about Friday. We almost ended up doing power snatches and power clean and jerks on Friday, and I was like, what does Friday need to be right now? And what should kind of be the king on Friday? And I'm like, I don't know if it's the snatch and clean jerk. I think giving the push press, even though we did push presses for sets of 10 on Wednesday, I think giving it its own heavy day too, with some drop set accessory, it felt more right. And also with a conditioning piece where you don't have to think at all. You just have to move. I don't know. What do you think about that? On just like cutting out more lifts, letting the muscles and stuff be their own thing on Monday and Wednesday, which they will eventually progress to powers anyways. What do you think about that?
Yeah, agreed on the push press. I think also based on the first week of it, I think something that we said before on like movement specific things I think we said it in like relation to CrossFit, but I mean, as stronger as I feel like so many of us have gotten, not doing push presses were like almost evident as we got to our like heavier weights of like, man, this is going up most of the way. I can't really remember how to get that handoff from legs to arms on this push press. Like if it was a jerk, I know how to get under it at that point. But like, since I haven't been doing heavy push presses in a long time, like that final push was something that I was like, oh, I know I should be able to do this, but I don't have it right now. So like, I think in the next few weeks, like we'll really drive those numbers up. just
Yeah.
from repetition of doing them heavier.
And a lot of you guys were able to get to a pretty high percentage. I mean, Schaff was only 2 kilos under his current PR, and Chris might have had a PR or been just tying it or going over it because we're still not sure of the numbers. And then Alex doesn't, I mean, he knows how to push press in concept, but he hasn't done a whole lot of it, because he was doing CrossFit before. So whenever push press would maybe come up in the programming there, he did it. But then he joined Barbell Club during a time where we really started to we're squatting all the time. And there's no time to do those other things. And then also getting you better at jerks. So I think Alex is going to find a huge benefit as he starts to like practice the dip and drive a little more and get that more in tuned, and having, he's so strong in his legs, but his really top end lockout and overhead strength isn't even comparable to his leg strength, and we could only ever get it so far, but like it should be something that matches. Like if you go down the percentages, like, okay, your back squat's the main thing, your clean and jerk and front squat and snatch are all percentages of that. The push press is maybe closer to the snatch, but he's not really there, or he's struggling to get there. So I think we bring that up for Alex, we'll see a huge return on his jerk for sure.
Yeah.
And this off season, kind of using it to experiment with Alex a little bit. Like most of you guys already have your set in stone thing. Like, all right, like Miguel's decided we're never going back to split, most likely. Like this is the jerk kind of going forward, like a push, power, or even squat. With Alex, I was wondering if he's got such great drive and everything, and his snatch lockouts are better than his jerk lockouts. So we were just talking about it. Like, what if we don't have Alex split? Like, what if he goes back to push or power jerks? So he wants to try it. And I think it's a good, if he feels more in control there, then like bringing the feet apart feels like not good or stable. I do wonder what he could do, because he does kind of have a build that would lend itself really well to being a strong push or power jerker. So we're going to try it out. He's going to do Frank's meet on June 13th. And I'm pretty sure he's going to compete. He's going to volunteer, and we're talking about competing. So that'll be a great opportunity to be like, let's just try things at this one. Make snatches and then try and make clean and jerks, but let's just try push jerks and see how you feel. And if he, after that meet, he's like, I feel super confident. That's like the big thing. If he may not feel strong, but if he's like, I feel so much better attacking lifts that way, I think we might be on to something here.
Yeah.
And with his squat strength and build, let's say he did catch a power jerk a little too low and it started to push him down and he just accidentally squat jerks. He doesn't have to be a squat jerker to do a squat jerker, but look at his base. I think he'd be fine if in that scenario he had it. And now he has more tools to navigate the jerk than in that split position. I just haven't been able to get him to bend that back leg and catch there. And I don't think he likes it. So if you don't like it, what are we doing? Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, even from my own self, like doing switching, I mean, there are so many things that I picked up from push jerking that just my jerk overall, like even if I was forced to go back to only split jerking, like dip and drive things. And I think again, like our club, it feels like we're all so very like leg dominant. Just that drive. And then also like we're doing these push presses now and upper body accessory. So I think that'll definitely help him out a lot, where it's like, again, even if he does go back to the split, maybe he realizes that like, oh, do my hands have to be wider? Is it more comfortable overhead if I'm in this position? Using everything from the push press or push jerk and putting that into a split jerk later on too can help a lot.
Yeah. And I think like you said, even if he does go back to the split jerk, I think some time with these push presses and also with the push jerk, he'll learn how to actually maximize his leg strength on the
Yep.
drive for the jerk, which for someone who back squats 500 pounds plus, he doesn't really know how to do. He doesn't know how to channel that strength into it. Once we get him there, his snatch is going to go way up, and also his jerk will benefit a lot too. I feel like he knows how to do it for the clean. It's a little more intuitive, but like on like actually putting in like that strong leg drive, I think he needs more work for the snatch. And then it's kind of like, because we were doing it on Friday, where it's like just trying to get him to put more legs into that pop and drive for the push press. He only got, I think, 110, but that was tough to put the leg drive into it. So I think once he figures that out on to actually use his leg strength, all those lifts are going to go through the roof. Yeah. So exciting things coming for Alex for sure. And for Chris, just working on the lockout and get the upper body strong and the bar placement. I think that'll go as well a long way for him too, because one of his earlier heavier push press sets, maybe it was 80, maybe it was 90, he did that thing where he like falls back or tips back. And it's because you're trying to push the bar so far back and you don't need to. So I was just telling him, keep it in here, even if it's like in line or slightly in front of the ear, but the arms are locked out. That's where we just got to work now. But he tries to push it so far back that he starts to give up his ribs and lean back a lot. And now the bar is so far behind his body. It's not even stacked over his legs. So, of course, he's going to fall back onto his foot on the jerk or lose balance, So I think just getting him to develop right in the placement where he needs to for his mobility and everything, it's fine. There's only so much we can do. Like if you watch even older masters, it's like out here, but like it may not look where you would perfectly want it to be, but it's still stacked over all the joints and muscles where they can hold it there. It's safe and it's locked out. But they're 70. What do you want? And Chris isn't 70. He's just turned 41. So also happy birthday to Chris. Chris just had a birthday. Look, we had this whole cluster.
Friday.
Yeah, on Friday. Look at that. We had a graduation, we had a birthday, we had a wedding, and now a Mother's Day. Four in a row. Look at that. Of Barbell Club celebrations. But I think it's you have to be realistic with it eventually. It's like, yes, you still keep coaching towards what you would ultimately want, but you have to realize you're working against 25 years of something else and this and that and lifestyle and work. And it's just make it as safe as possible and let it so that they can maximize their strength in that little range. Because you can't maximize the strength with the bar back here. We know he's strong, but he can't do anything back here. So if it's a little forward, fine. Okay. That's what we got to do. And though there will probably come a time maybe where it's funny. Those of you that are like 30, late 20s, early 30s, like right now, here's your lockout. Where's it going to go in the next 20 years? 30 years, if you keep doing this, it might be you're out here. And then you'll remember the times where you used to really be able to get it back there. And you're like, well, that's not my body anymore, But I have that wisdom and I have that intuition and training that allows me to keep making it work. I've seen so many people in our community over the years kind of go from that. That's a weird thing too. Seeing people 10, 15 years ago and you remember how much they were lifting and what their lifts look like. And then you come to now and you're like, wow, things have changed, And it's not like they stopped, a great example, Jim Storch, right? I remember 10 years ago, he was clean and jerking 150 plus. And now, he's clean jerking 105, 110. And so like you see the numbers change and you see the mobility change and stuff. And he hasn't stopped in that time. Right. He does the guy's done 1 million meets. He's got to be up to 200 meets at this point. So I remember 10 years ago, he used to tell me all the that's my 133rd meet. That's my 135th meet. He used to tell me all the time how many meets he's done. So he's definitely up there now. but he hasn't changed anything. It's just progression of life. He's just gotten older,
Yep.
you know. So it's just funny to see that happen, and then you guys will start to experience that too. Have you noticed anything? Like, it's kind of weird maybe for you because you started young, but you didn't have the lifting base yet, and now
Mhm.
you're a little older, but you have the lifting base. So maybe you've seen some things change, but maybe not that type of change where like, oh, I've lost a little bit of something.
Yeah, I think it's gone in a different way. Um, yeah, like I think based on just how we lift, I mean, you can tell that like me and Haley are like track and field athletes, like things like that. And I feel like so many of the things I did before were like, oh, your base is in like running or like sprinting and something like that. And now I feel like all my other things are now based on you're a lifter. Like whether even like when I'm in the pool, my instructor is like, yeah, your shoulders, like everything you do with your shoulders are like super active and like stiff, but like you have to like relax them. And I'm like, yeah, that's a clearly like a lifting thing. Even like when with like ballroom dancing, and they're like, yeah, you're very like stiff in these areas. And I'm like, yeah, because all we know is like active shoulders or like these positions and not like getting into something else. But it's very much like as a lifter now. So I think just like you're saying, like as a life thing, everything's gonna like start to shift based on like what you do. So right now I think I'm still in the spot of like just everything is becoming lifting, where then later on I think my lifting style will then change due to like life, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's what's good now that you have your lifting base, but you've been doing ballroom dancing and other things, but you're doing swimming now, and you're doing things that kind of like requires you to relax certain parts of your body to progress the movement. I think that might have a good return back into the lifting on like not being overly stiff where you need to
Right.
be fluid on a jerk or a snatch or a clean. I don't know if you've felt any carryover the reverse way yet, but I think it could certainly come. There is something to the part of the 100 words of fitness for CrossFit on learn and play new sports, and that's kind of one of them. Like I mean, one you want to have like a well robust lifestyle and everything, but also just like if you're thinking to be as an athlete, we've all heard the stories about people doing ballet dancing and this and that to be a better football player or whatever. So it's like it's cool to see some of you guys at the point now where you are exploring other sports kind of because you can, and you're becoming more well-rounded in your strength too in that way.
Yep. Yeah.
So cool stuff. Well, I have here, they just popped up randomly. Every now and then I'll get sucked into a West Side Barbell uh, video binge. Like one of them will pop up on my feed. I'm like, well, let's see what Louie's saying, and then all of a sudden it's like, how many videos have I watched now? All right, so
Yeah.
many of them, but it's all classic stuff. It's all stuff that's true, and I do, I incorporate a lot of weightlifting and CrossFit stuff because of my background into our programming for Barbell Club and just into my coaching in general. But I also incorporate a lot of like stuff that I learned from when I was powerlifting or just from studying West Side. And there's a lot of different powerlifting tribes, but if I was going to associate with one tribe, it'd be this one, on like,
Yeah.
all right, like Louie Simmons was legendary. And that's, as soon as you got into the sport, you couldn't not know who that was. And then I had his book or a lot of his books, way early on. So that's going to be a big influence as well. So I had these quotes pop up that I thought we would talk about here and see what we think. The first one, the context is Louis was talking about the trap bar deadlift. Someone had asked him about like, hey, is it worth doing, or should we just stick to regular deadlifts? And he referred to the trap bar deadlift as the center of mass bar, which is cool because I've never heard of it talked about that way, of being the center of mass bar. And he explained it's the center of mass bar because of where the weight sits between your body, your midline and where your hands are. They're directly lined up with your shins versus any other barbell. Your hands move slightly in front of your shins by a little bit, which means the relationship between the weight and your center of mass is different. And when you see people sumo deadlifting, where they're really like their feet are kind of turned out and the bars on the inside of their shins, and they're getting their hips really, really low to almost be on top of the bar. At least that's the way that Dyke Naughton taught me to do it at Cutting Edge Sports Sciences. You are trying to get your center mass and the bar center mass as close to on top of each other as possible. It's going to make the lift mechanically easier. So this bar does that all on its own. You don't have to do anything special. It's just in the placement. And he said it's good for developing your legs, but anything you want to develop your back and your pull, it has to be with a bar in front, But this is just good for leg development and overall general strength. But he was also talking about how people might want to put the trap bar on a higher pedestal than a regular barbell because deadlifts are perceived as dangerous. Still to this day in the general populace, deadlifts are dangerous. And he said, no lift is dangerous unless the trainer is dangerous. And that's the quote that popped out to me. I'm like, yeah, like that's kind of how it should be looked at. Like when I went to go take my handgun lesson, is the gun, all right, the gun is dangerous, but so is a blunt instrument of a barbell. But anything is dangerous. But I had a safe instructor. Like I didn't have an instructor that was having me do anything dangerous. We went through the same steps every single time, and safety and this and that, and one bullet at a time. He's not giving me a full magazine on my first couple tries here. Just like a safe trainer wouldn't give someone a barbell loaded with way too much than they have experience to handle. So it's in the context, if you ever have to defend a lift, it's like no exercise or lift or activity is dangerous. It's the people that are around you instructing you that could be dangerous. What do you think about that? And do you ever think about that for yourself as a trainer, or looking at other trainers on like, I don't know why they're having that guy do that. Maybe, so like it's not the exercise or their back is round. It's like it's the guy standing there watching them. That's kind of the dangerous part of this equation.
Yeah, and that's fun for so many things where, I mean, like I played football for a few years, and it's similar where it can be extremely dangerous. But if you have a coach who, like, if you're playing defense, which like if you're playing at a younger level, like you're playing everything, but like part of it is teaching people how to tackle like well. Because we know that it's dangerous. And it's like a lot of the times where you see people get injured, like head injuries from tackling somebody else, it's like, yeah, they probably weren't taught to do it the effective way of like, you have to keep everything stacked the same way that like we talk about in all our other moves, or a lot of stuff in like the fitness industry now is like why people don't barbell back squat. And then you look at how they move through other movements and you're like, well, yeah, I guess if I was training you, I probably wouldn't even get to the bar yet because I don't like how you air squat. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, anything can be dangerous. It's how the person moves. But yeah, your job as the trainer is to see that and then make the proper adjustments so that a person can do anything.
Yeah. And it's so easy for trainers to make like a reel or some kind of video where they're like 5 reasons never to do this exercise. And it's like, all right, wait a minute. What the video isn't saying is like, okay, what is your experience? Are you even able to teach this movement? Like, are you just uncomfortable teaching this movement and you've had bad experiences? Did you have people do too much too soon? Maybe you're the problem and it's not the back squats, so it's like the person making the video on like, here's 5 reasons never to back squat. It doesn't work, even though it's the crown jewel of lifts across so many other things. Even if you're just going to take variations, maybe some program out there for some strength and conditioning sport has them doing quarter squats for a reason. It's just putting a barbell spinally loaded on your back and going down and up for whatever range of motion is one of the gold standards of doing anything. And if you want to make
Right.
someone crazy strong for their sport or something, let's say you have a fighter and you want to make their legs strong, so when they wrap them around another guy, that guy can't get away, have them do squats. That's gonna help. And deadlifts too, same thing. That's like 1 and 2 or tied. I know it goes back and forth on what people
Yeah.
say is like the king of lifts. You look at Justin breaking the glass yesterday at his wedding. One shot, boom. We could feel it through the floor when his leg hit the ground. I have seen so many videos, I'm sure you have too, where they go to stomp that thing and it doesn't break or it slips out,
Yeah.
and they do multiple attempts. I was so proud when Justin crushed that glass. And it was a nice, also, I will say this too. When Justin, during the wedding ceremony, broke the glass on the floor, his foot landed so flat, heels down. So I was thinking about, I'm like, we got to do that in training too. Cause so many times I'm telling Justin, like, we got to land with the heels down. He's a little toesy, not on wedding day. On wedding day, it was a perfect flat foot placement with a strong leg. So even something like that, you just want to be strong. Squats will help. They will help.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not the exercise, it's not the activity. Of course, there are inherent risk, right? Like if you go bungee jumping or think of like extreme things where you're in the air, there's a risk with the activity. Equipment could fail. You could mistime something, and that's going to happen in any activity you do. It's just, why do you think it is that exercise itself, which should be a good and positive thing, gets such a bad rap when it comes to that kind of situation where it's like, of course, if you do an Ironman, go bungee jumping, zip lining, practice with a handgun, any activity, there are risks of a certain level that something could happen, malfunction, you could get hurt. But exercising gets I feel like the biggest public complaint when it comes to that department. What do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's because it's such a, I think mentally where it is there's so much in it that people can often end up in situations where they're in more danger, I guess you could say. Like if you're even talking about like ultra marathon runners and just like so much of that sport is built in of like pushing yourself past beyond what you think you can do, right? And that's where you can get into some danger of like the mentality that may come along with it or the motivations, because you might be ignoring some warning signs or something like that. But also just like, even if we're talking about just a commercial gym, people's motivations for getting in the gym can often put them in these weird spots where they might put themselves in danger. Like you want to change yourself so bad that you're like putting yourself in this scenario where maybe you just simply aren't ready for what you put on the bar or what exercise you're trying to do yet, because you want to get to this point, or just whatever like motivations go along with it. It's just such an active approach, whereas I mean, like we say, like sitting on the couch is just as damaging, right? But because
if not more dangerous, in the long term,
right? Because it's like seen as the inactive thing, it's more like accepted, whereas like, oh, you go to the track and you run and you something with your Achilles, your shin splints or something like that, and they're like, because you're going out there and running, you're doing something dangerous. Whereas like, you can just sit and do nothing, but I think it's like the actively choosing that people kind of get iffy about.
And there's so much opportunity for like, if you don't have a trainer, for your own ego to take over the activity. And also you are allowed to do the activity kind of unsupervised, which I guess like if I'm using like the handgun an analogy. At a certain point, I think you are allowed to go out there and use the range on your own, right? And you're trusted. And now
Yeah.
you kind of are in that situation. And because of the training and the environment, I think most people are sane when they do those things. Although I've seen some videos of people like just turning and because they just
Yeah.
don't have that discipline, and the instructor's like, don't feel like it only gets pointed downrange and stuff. And like I remember that speech, and I'm like, yes, I'm never pointing this anywhere else. I will not, um, but a lot of people just don't have that awareness, or they maybe don't take things seriously. But in a gym, you just have this playground of stuff, and you can go out there and pull anything out you want. And then people see the videos, and then they associate that with the activity. And coaching in general, people know about having a trainer, but it's kind of like still not like as mainstream as it is on like, oh, if you have one, you'll be safe now. You should get one.
Right.
Versus,
Hmm.
and the people doing their own thing without one kind of gives the whole activity a bad rap. But then there are, of course, I mean, gosh, like if you think about dangerous trainers, just you could find them. They're kind of everywhere. You could be a dangerous trainer and not even know it. You just lack experience.
Right. Yeah.
And then you get pulled into the thing of where, all right, yeah, he paid me so much for that personal training package. I got to get him results, stuff like that. And versus that's why like you got to be upfront with the expectations right off the bat. All right, you're getting married next Tuesday and you want to lose 30 pounds. I'm sorry, that's not realistic, and I can't do that for you. But what it can do is get you a couple good sweats before that, and maybe you'll feel a little better going into it. Like, because I mean, we don't get that much anymore, and people kind of just join the CrossFit program. But I remember when we had AMRAP and we would talk to goals with people would tell me stuff like that all the time. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, my daughter's getting married in August, and it's July or June. And I'm like, well, like, how strict are you willing to be right now and dive into this diet? No?
Yeah.
All right. Not going to happen. And I'll be upfront with you right now. This is going to be a huge diet dependent thing. And it's hard, like, especially with weight loss. And that's where people kind of do dangerous things too. When they get desperate and they want it really, really fast, they start taking fat burners and stuff. You're going to go through, I'm sure you've seen it and maybe you've experienced it, maybe not experienced it. But if someone wants to lose a lot of weight, they have their starting point and they look normal because that's what everybody knows what they look like, right? And they even what they see. Then they'll start to lose weight and they'll go through phases. And there's also a phase in there where you kind of look your worst. You look almost worse than when you started because you were like filled out and that's the default state. But then like you'll go through this point where you're like, everything's kind of like not together anymore. But then after you get through that point, now you're at the next set point and everything looks normal again and your body has fully adapted. There's a period in there where things start to not look like progress and you bail on the whole thing. And then you go back to the ready state you were before. You ever experienced this or seen someone kind of like trying to go through a weight loss journey and they kind of bail midway where like they have to push through this little hump here and that's how they'll get to the other side?
I haven't seen it, I guess, firsthand. Yeah, I mean, like there are like people online where it's stuff like that. Like either they're doing like a bodybuilding show or something like a challenge of some sort, and there's always like that middle hump period where they're like, the progress was there, everything was going, and this week, and some like you're saying, like sometimes it's just like looks wise where it's just like this just isn't looking the way that I want it to, or like just mentally to them it's not where it should be, like, and it is like right in the middle, the like later third or something where they're just like, yeah, it doesn't feel like it should to them, and you just have to finish it out, I guess.
It's it's a tough point, and it's not even just weight loss. It's kind of like with everything, like you're trying to get stronger. There might be a point within that where you're weaker, but your body has to like build back up. It's if your body, how many times do you think our bodies would tell us, like if it could like actually like everything pauses and a little bar comes in front of your eyes and where your body's just like, just give me a second. Like how many times do you think our bodies would be like, just like, would you just give me a second, like 1 second to process all of this? Like you told me for 10 years, this is what we were doing. Now you've changed everything for 3 months. And like, I just need a moment, like I bet our bodies would yell at us a lot like that, because we are impatient and we want things now. Like the desire for the magic pill has been there for so long, and now we're kind of in situations where we kind of have one, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, no lift is dangerous unless the trainer is dangerous. And you could sub out exercise or whatever. But yeah, any other thoughts on that?
No, yeah, I think I think we got it.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's good to have a reminder too of like, don't be the dangerous trainer. Just like in the moment when you're planning and in class, like, is this what we need to be doing right now? Or could we be doing something else?
Yeah.
The next quote, the context is Louie was talking about box squatting. He was at a seminar and not like a gym seminar. This is more of like a lecture-based seminar where everybody's in like a boardroom kind of thing. And he's got a projector up and he has one of his lifters there and they're demoing box squats in just a chair, so like a conference type thing.
Yeah.
But he had an athlete that he was talking about who had ruptured their patellar tendons training for powerlifting. And these are guys that are trying to like back squat 1,000 pounds and whatnot. So they're going to have injuries and stuff. And he said that, proper technique for the back squat and box squatting, which is his preferred method of training the back squat, is safe and it's going to help us in XYZ ways. And when that lifter ruptured his patellar tendons, he went to the doctors and the surgeons and all that stuff. And he's like, hey, this is the activity I want to do. And they're like, oh, you should stop doing all these exercises. And Louie was talking about, all right, no, I had him immediately start dragging sleds and jumping up on a 2x4. So this is someone who had a ruptured patellar tendon surgery and he wants them to jump on top of something. And he's like, no, we're going to use jumping. We're going to use sled dragging and pulling, and we're going to do some squats because they are beneficial. They can be done in a safe way. And this kind of goes back to the other quote on like, they're not dangerous. It would be dangerous for him as the coach or trainer to have this guy try to jump on a 24-inch box. But he's like, I just want him to start to tell the body, we jump, we're explosive, we're strong, we have to heal. But it's funny that those activities will help with the healing because this is what your body naturally does. And the main takeaway quote after this whole spiel that he gave, which, by the way, he said that guy went in 9 months after having surgery from a 500-pound back squat to a 900-pound back squat, which the chasm between 500 and 600 is huge. Like when people back squat 500 pounds, it's like, great, awesome. That's kind of like, it was a great achievement, but the work to do to get to that next strength level is enormous. It's kind of like taking your mile times. Like, great, you got 8 minutes, then you got 7 minutes. Do you know what you have to do now to get it down to 5 minutes or something like that? So he said, you want to get the most out of exercises. Don't let them get the most out of you. So using jumping on a 2x4 and box squatting to progressively lower points to eventually get it back to just below parallel, because that's what their sport requires. And also he doesn't see the need to do anything more than that, just below parallel. And dragging weights, all the things that the doctors told them not to do, he had him do. But it's like, we're going to get the most we can out of a specific exercise and not let the exercise get more out of us. And I think it's very easy to have exercises get the most out of you instead of the other way around. And a great example that I can think of is in a CrossFit sense. People are always like 65 or 75. I'm like 65, like the lighter one. I've already watched you do all these. It's what does the extra 10 pounds get you? You're not doing the 135 pounds. You're hemming and hawing on 10 pounds of weight. And it comes back to ego a lot of the times. Well, I'd feel better if it was slightly heavier, but it's like, but no, even on a workout where the prescribed weight is 65, 45. Yeah, you should probably be using 45 or 35 or something and whatnot. It's like, this is 400 reps. What? So I'm sure you experience this situation all the time where people are like, what's the extra inch on that box matter at all to what we're trying to do? And can you get more out of it if you did less? So what do you think about this quote? Don't you want to get the most out of exercises? Don't let them get the most out of you.
Yeah, my brain went to scaling in CrossFit as well. Or just like when we train, we even talk about like the lowest effective dose of like, you don't always have to overdo it or like go for the most intricate thing. Like if you're still getting the movement pattern, then that's effective. Like the handstand push-up and the scaling options for that. It's like, all right, you can do 2 ab mats up against the wall and do that. Or you can just do really hard pike push-ups and like, like which one is going to be better for you? Like you're doing, I guess, less, like you're using less equipment. You're just using what your body's going. You're not even going fully inverted, but you're getting so much more out of it because you can actually hit the positions for that. Or just, you're not like overdoing it, trying to like get to this quote unquote like final step before it's too soon, and potentially like hurting yourself or progressing past what you're actually capable of, and just doing the best at the level that you're at. Like if it is starting to feel easy, can you go faster? Can you hold that position better? Using it that way instead of just trying to get to that final thing every time.
Yeah, it's there's so much to be gleaned from in CrossFit for this one, because like people will see the workout and they'll think all day about what they could do and what they want to do. And then they'll come to class and be like, well, I was really hoping to use the 30-inch box. And then you just got to be like, you're not at the 30-inch box yet. And actually, it'd probably be best if you use the 20-inch box or an 18-inch box. It's like, all right, how are we trying to land? And you can show me in practice a couple good lands, but it's not that you can't land that way. It's will you allow yourself to have the discipline to do it that way every time. And I know we're on the timer, but the time it really doesn't matter at all. This is one of those CrossFit things is like, maybe we should have more workouts that aren't even on the timer. It's like, wouldn't you be more benefit doing this circuit? It's still intense, but you had, let's say, technique versus intensity. This is the slope here. Like, do we want all 10 box jumps to be picture perfect, that the intensity is down? Ultimately, no, we're not going to expect them to be that way. But can we have 77 to 8 of them be that? And then, like, all right, you had a little wobble on a couple of them, but that's also why your coach is here. Like, Miguel, tighten that up. And you're like, oh, I'm right back to it, versus you do the first 2 to 3, great. And then it's a train wreck after that. And you're not even trying. You're just trying to get on the box. You're exhausted and you don't know how to rein it back in when you're exhausted. I think it's funny, like when people have their expectations in the workout, they always forget how exhausted they're going to be and what they actually have in them when that happens. You ever notice that? It's like I after years of doing this, and I'm sure you're the same way, I know what's going to happen when I'm exhausted. We don't need to go down that road. We've done that for years. It's like, all right, I know when he turns around, I'm going to start to cheat or do whatever, like, how about I just don't put myself in that position anyways, because that position actually doesn't get me the growth that I want for my overall goals.
But
as soon as you turn around, Miguel, I'm going to go back to doing the rowing anyway, the way I want to, like just waiting for you to turn around. Right. Mm-hmm. It's a normal thing. I think this is a great lesson, and it also part of the lesson is you can accomplish a lot with a little bit. You know, a 2x4 that guy was jumping
Yeah.
up on. Now our athletes aren't recovering from knee replacement surgery, you know, but like they are coming in after working their normal job, their life stresses, all these things, and it's like, okay, that is the prescribed. That's kind of like how last week when I was like, all right, I gave the 70-100 back squat in the workout as an example. Like it's going to be our upper limit. We're not going to go above that. But this is like, all right, if you know on your squats, it's this percentage, you can do this. But this isn't like there's not a status symbol to do this. You don't need to
Yeah.
do this for the sake of doing this. I'm just giving us a cap. And I immediately regretted it. And I almost didn't do it for the push press, but I'm like, nah, let's keep it for the push press. And then I was like, maybe I should just assign weights, because for some people I did assign weights because I know they would see the number on the board and instantly be like, that's what I need to do.
Right.
And I'm like, but no, it's not, you know. And those of you that know what you need to do made the correct adjustments. So of course, it's just a coaching thing. You just need to be told over and over. And I guess kind of learn the hard way a couple times. But there are people that will never learn the hard way. What do you think about that? There are people that will never learn. Like, you're like, all right, this has been a couple years now. You're just never going to learn this. Like, what do you do with that?
That's just the plight of some people. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it can't just be in that scenario, right? Like that's just got to be how they live and how they've always lived. Like I'm sure, like if we could talk to that person's parents from however
Yeah.
old they are, like growing up, that they're like, yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah. I guess the only thing you can do is like you have to know that they're coming and they're going to do this, and then you have to have your argument on like, no, you're doing this today. You know, that's really all you can do, and that's how you can make sure that you are remaining a safe trainer in this situation where you're like, no. And some people you just got to tell people like, you don't got it. Like you don't got it. Like I remember back when I was actively doing all these workouts, like people would tell me things that they're going to do, and I'm like, I didn't even do that. And I jerked 110 in the strength portion kilos before that. And then I had to scale this thing all the way down, and I'm not in total out of shape, but like this workout buried me. It was awful, you know, and then now you're telling me you want to go 20 pounds heavier than what I did. But then in the heavy portion, you did 50 kilos or 50 pounds lighter and whatnot. I'm like, hold on, you got to rein this back in. You don't got this. I didn't have this. And that's where it's good to have experience for your own self. I'm sure you do that all the time where you're like, this workout would bury me and I have pull-ups. So you need to do 5 instead of going for 25. Like I'd have to break this up 3 times already. You're going to have to break this up 7 times on round 1. Do you lean into that experience and past traumas of lifting and workouts?
Yeah, when I need to. Because, you're right. Like some people need that context. I don't always need to do it, but sometimes when you put that perspective in of like, oh, you just saw me do a workout yesterday. You know that I can do these type of movements. If I was doing what I'm coaching you guys in today, I would for sure have to do it this way. And because I know that I'm doing it this way, I'd have to bring down that weight, or, you know, I know that it would take this long. So keep that in mind, because if you're not there, then you might also have to think about changing this or that. And it can help to kind of bring in that perspective. Or like, even like games athletes, where I'm like, well, think about if this weight is RX, a games athlete can probably do, you know, triple, quadruple times this number, and they're going for this time frame. Where do you think that puts regular folk, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's you know, I've been there before where you see the workout and you start like playing it out in your head and you see like your own success and you're like, yeah, I will do those thrusters unbroken. I can see it right now. And you go in with that confidence, and then round one hits, and you're like, mistake. I've made a mistake.
Yeah.
I am not that guy. I don't have that dog in me. I'm not going to do them unbroken. Or maybe you do them unbroken round one, and you're like, oh, I didn't fantasize about round two or three or four or five, and I'm in trouble now. So yeah, it's I think reading or listening to and then reading these quotes, it's always good to have reminders. There's so many things we focus on, but it made me think I need to flex my no, do this instead muscle. Like I gotta warm it up more. I gotta sharpen it more. I gotta flex it a little bit more. I'm like, nope, you're doing this, whatnot, because I already know the answer. So it's like the need to, or the desire to not be a dangerous trainer, and also to get the most out of exercises, instead of the other way around, kind of plays hand in hand on like flexing that muscle. Be like, nope, we're shooting one bullet at a time. Nope, take this jump. Nope, you're doing this. Because and that's the point of doing all the prep and the practice, not only to warm up the body, but for you to see and be like, no, like you're dying right now doing sets of 5 on practice. You shouldn't do 15. Maybe we should just stick to sets of 5, and letting athletes know that reducing the numbers, reducing the weight, modifying things does not mean worse workout. And I know that's hard. People think, all right, I'm doing less. I'm getting less. Think about if you were paying for that session one time and you're like, well, I'm not going to get the most out of my money because I'm doing this. When in reality, you are, and that's where the art of coaching comes into play. I'm like, okay, how can I have this person do something that feels inclusive? We're all still doing the same thing. I'm not having them do a scaling option that makes no sense at all and isn't anywhere near to what everyone else is doing, unless there's an injury that we're working around. Like, okay, everybody else is doing pull-ups. I got you just doing even dumbbell rows, I would say, is too far removed, But if I can put you with your own pull-up bar, and even if your feet are on the ground or you're kneeling or you're on a box or something, just get it close to where it's like, yeah, gang, we're all doing the same thing.
Right.
You have a blue ball just like everyone else. Yours is just maybe slightly a shade different. I'm not giving you a purple or a bright yellow ball and everyone else has a blue ball. And now you feel different, like that's something we have to remember too, how to modify things. Like, and working with Haley a lot has been good practice for this. Cause like, all right, I want to do Russian twist in our conditioning workout. I want to get us some oblique work, lateral stuff, because we already did regular sit-ups earlier in the week. And I want to make sure we're hitting both movement patterns. All right. Oh, well, that's ab exercises are tough for Haley. Majority of them we cannot do. So I have two options now. Option number one, don't program it at all. No one does it because one person can't do it and I don't know how to get out of this mess. Now that benefits no one. That's not good. Option two, have Haley do something completely different. Okay, they're going to do Russian twist. You're going to do banded pull aparts, whatever. So I need to find something that she can do that is a similar side to side. She'll feel it in her obliques and she's doing it, but she doesn't feel bad about it. She's like, because she knows I'm very pregnant right now. So I don't expect to do that, but I still want to, when everyone else is putting a barbell overhead, I want to put something overhead. So I had her I was going to have her do the adaptive burpee where you'd sit in a chair between two boxes and you'd move a ball from this side to this side. Because a burpee is all about moving your center mass up and down.
Yeah.
If you're in a wheelchair, you can't do that. So you move your center mass and the center mass of an object from this side to that side. And I was like, all right, well, that might not be as close as we want to, but going up against a wall and touching the ball from side to side, I'm sure you've seen fighters do that where they have, it's a ball on a rope right? And they go bam, 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 bam.
Mhm.
Boy, have you ever done that?
Yeah.
It's
So,
miserable, right? Like
yeah.
that'll smoke you. You're like, this is gonna work my abs? No way. And then you're like, I'm on fire right now as you move that thing back and forth. So just having her do that, just touch the wall ball side to side. And then when I checked in with her, I'm like, where do you feel it? And she's like, my obliques are on fire right now. Bam, we did it. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. We found a safe thing where we can get the most out of the exercise, the stimulus of the day. It's inclusive. She's involved. Not that she would have been like, no, I have to do these Russian twists and whatnot, because Haley's smart and knows herself and all that stuff. But like, it was just a good example of this whole thing. I'm like, all right, trainer and athlete, both safe. The exercises are all safe. This is just what we got to do. Keep it inclusive. How can we squeeze the most, bang for our buck out of the exercise and get a good workout? And it's like, boom, that was the easiest it could possibly be, And of course, you go to like some CrossFit classes and like, this is as hard as it could possibly be right now because you don't want to listen. But so yeah, that's these are things that we're trying to work on and things to consider on. That was a great stimulus that she got, and I feel like more people need to do that. I'm like going for the big thing, and it's always weights, heights, and distances that people kind of get hung up on, and people will ask me or you. They're like, "All right, which would you prefer? I keep the weight and go down in the reps, or keep the reps, go up in the weight?" And then you have to make a decision right now. But it's there's also a clear answer that they want as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just had those two quotes. Louie has a lot of other quotes. Like don't have $100 shoes and a 10-set squat. Like, I bet you could get the gist of that one.
Yeah.
Weak things break. There are two types of people in the world: predators and prey. I think that's more along the athlete mindset and like being a competitor. And then the other one I like is normal people will accomplish normal things. If you think about everything that we accomplish in Barbell Club and training, and also like the big things that are being accomplished by those in the club outside of life, like, or outside of training, like a lot of normal people who like the status quo, who like things easy and comfortable, don't do those things, because all those things are hard things. And that's how you could start to become not a normal person in that context by getting into the gym, finding a safe trainer, doing things the right way, and then learning how to push yourself, to those new heights. And then you're like, you know what? I do want that job promotion, and I'm going to go take it, or I'm going to go tell them, hey, I think I should be promoted because XYZ thing. And maybe you never would have done that because you don't show your full self in all areas of life. But now training has brought that out of you, and now you're more bold and confident, and you go to get things, because missing a snatch 5 times in a row and then still having that drive to be like, nope, I want this and I'm going to go get it. And then you connect with it and you slam it and everyone's cheering and whatnot. That changes you as a person for sure. So yeah, normal people will accomplish normal things, but we are not in the business of being normal people. Someone training for a triathlon when they've been training for mostly weightlifting for a handful of years. That's not a normal thing. It's not a normal decision. That's a decision that you made because you're like, I want to experience more things and I want to be better in more ways, right?
Yeah.
It would be, even though you do big things in weightlifting, it would be normal now and average to just stay in that lane and not to go on in other things. Nothing wrong with that, but it would be now its own different kind of normal. And then you have to decide, is that the right normal for me? And you've decided otherwise, which I think is a good thing. So yeah. Any other thoughts, Miguel, on anything that we've talked about?
No. Yeah, I guess that last point of that, like normal people do normal things. I was kind of having a similar conversation just about training in general with someone. And I think I can't remember who it was, or I think it was like one of those things where you're comparing yourself to like another person. And I was like, do you think that person does just like normal workouts? Like they're clearly doing more, I guess was the thesis of the conversation of like, yeah, these people aren't just going in and just going through the motions. Like there are people who go to the gym for years. They're not in a way that you would expect them to be after years or something like that. Like in any form of life, or like, just coworkers, and they're like, yeah, I go to the gym these many days a week for like this amount of time. And you're like, oh, but it's because some people just go in and they like clock in. They
Yeah.
do like their little thing that they do, or like just on a routine of like, yeah, I just do this, and there isn't really that intensity in it, or like the goal to go further, which is fine, but it's like then that makes sense. Like your training is only going to bring you, you're only going to get to the level that you train. So fine being like doing just the normal things and maintaining what you have, then like, yeah, everything can stay the same. But like if your goal is to like reach the levels of these other people that you like may see, or just to progress further than where you are currently, like you have to then do more.
Yeah.
Was the basis of the conversation of just like, yeah, you want more, you're going to have to give a little bit more in some way or form.
Yeah. Those people that they're looking at, you may see the gym videos, but like you don't, I mean, people post it now a little bit, but like you don't see all the recovery work. You definitely don't see the nutrition, the even like with the strongmen, uh what's his name? Oh, I'm blanking on his name now. Big American ball guy, Dan. What's his name?
Oh,
Anyways, like the he that's driving me crazy now. Like I know his name, but like I can't think
yeah,
of it now. He's like the most famous one. Like I mean outside of Thor. But like he had posted on his YouTube channel days worth of him eating all his meals on like he's one of the biggest people in the world, and definitely the strongest and one of the strongest. And but it's like the work he has to do with nutrition and how much food he has to eat is insane. And like even with any of these goals, the work you do in the kitchen is hard work. It's so much harder than the gym work. Like with the gym work, like yeah, come in, lay your sword down, listen to your trainer, do even a little less than you think, and get good range of motion and movement. But then when you go home, that's where the hard work is going to be, and that's
yeah,
a big separator for a lot of people because it's mental, it's financial, it's physical, but that's a big part that a lot of people meet, and they don't put that into context when they idolize other people, and they're like, it must be so easy for him. He
yeah,
was born this way. He has everything given to him. Meanwhile, the guy's choking down more spaghetti. He's like, I really like I do this every day, and like I no longer enjoy it, but I have to. Or imagine being tied to a timer schedule in your day where
mm,
all right, I gotta eat again. Like the alarm goes off and it's like, yep, here's meal number 6. And I would like to just go for a walk or do nothing or anything, but I have to choke down more chicken and broccoli. Like or as the things you want go up, you'll have degrees of freedom that go down. You have less freedom. If you truly like, all right, I can't go out and party. I have to be home at a certain time to go to bed, because I'm
yep,
on a schedule. Like it is a lifestyle. And so you have to figure out how it fits in with yours and have realistic expectations. And I think anybody can have outstanding results if they just locked in that nutrition just a little bit,
mm,
and made it easy, and adapted with it too. Like I've been doing strict paleo since March 11th, but like I'm not cooking those meals. I cheated. I made it easy. I'm like, what is a way that I can win and like there is no failure? Oh, I'll order the Ice Age meals. Boom, they come in. It's right there. I don't have to think at the end of the night after Barbell Club. Oh crap, I got to go to Hannaford and buy some stuff now, or I didn't get to go grocery shop. Nope, it's just delivered right to me. So I eliminated those barriers. And yes, you have to pay for that like kind of luxury. But then when I weigh the pros and cons, time, effort, dishes, buying dish detergent, like all these things, and then the results. It's like when you factor in the results, would you not pay for that? I've already lost about 8 to 10 kilos. So it's like back on March 11th, if you're like, James, this is what it's going to cost. Like right now, if I could wave a magic wand, if you could just drop 10 kilos right now, would you pay it? Everybody would say yes. So it's like, so when I factor in what the cost of the meals are into my budget and everything that I get from it, it's a no-brainer. Like making my life crazy easy and getting the results and the peace of mind and no extra trips. I barely go to Hannaford now. I was going to Hannaford so many random times during the week.
Yeah.
Which when I did the math on that too, the way the money adds up that way insidiously that you don't even realize, it's the same or more, or when I'm buying like when I'm buying rice there, I'm like, wait a minute, I was spending so much more on all this rice, and it wasn't even as good. That's the thing too. It wasn't even as good. I'm just like, this is awful because I'm not a chef. So like, if you factor in everything just to like make it easy, make it easy. And then if we have an event like the wedding last night, I'm gonna enjoy the wedding. I'm gonna go.
Right.
I'm gonna go to Gordon Ramsay's thing. That's the only meal I ate that day. And but like this is an experience now. It's not every day. I already have the everyday figured out. But now I can have this experience and know the peace of mind. Oh yeah, I got meals defrosting for tomorrow. That's what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna all of a sudden be like, well, the week is ruined now. Guess we're going to Chipotle again. Guess we're doing it. Like, no, that's not happening. So yeah, you just got to make it easy for yourself. Like that. Like if anyone wanted like a quick jump start and you're able to do it, just like, all right, my trainer told me to do this. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to just buy those pre-made meals or meal service or whatever. I'm just going to do that and just coast on that for a couple months, and you'd be surprised how fast the results come. I was a little shocked when I stepped on the scale that I started around 85 kilos or so, and then now I'm down to like 75, 76, and I was like, whoa, all right. Yeah, that was like because it didn't feel like I had to do work work for it. All of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, how did that happen? That felt way too easy. So yeah. I can't remember how I got down here, but yeah, that's it. What were we talking about?
It was the normal people do normal things, and it was just it was like the dialing in of things that like it might be easier to not dial in these things, but if you want to progress past a certain point, then you have to do a little bit more. Yeah.
And I'm all about, if you do a little bit more, make it easy, almost like it's cheating. Like you should be trying to like break the system, and I don't mean with like steroids or drugs or anything like that. I'm just like, how can I shape my whole routine that it does benefit me and makes things easier, So, because if your general goals aren't a sport, so you don't need to worry about the rules. You just need to worry about getting them and what makes you happy. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, Miguel, where can people follow you?
Couldn't Be Miguel on Instagram.
Couldn't Be Miguel. Follow me, James A. McDermott. Follow Albany CrossFit Barbell Club, Albany CrossFit. check out that Barbell Club page because soon we're going to have nice wedding photo up, of the team looking good. And also check the stories too because it's Mother's Day, so I'm going to put Haley's registry back up there. Like we gotta we gotta sell out that registry. Like so, like if you're on the fence, buy some diapers. I think Murph said at his the last baby birthday party, I think they went through like close to 5,000 diapers in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of diapers. So
it really is. Yeah.
If you're like, I've met Haley at a weightlifting meet, or I want to support, or I enjoy her videos, or I'm just a member of the gym and I want to support, diapers. You can't go wrong, probably.
Yeah.
Brands and types, I don't know anything about. I just know in general, they're going to need them.
Right.
So cool. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. And Miguel, we'll talk again probably next week. Yeah, next week. And stream.